Hello, thank you for being with me on this particular video where I bring a fuller picture of my work with asymmetrical biotargeted mosquitoes, especially how I use Greenomics, the game. Now, Greenomics is an adapted version of the Ludo game. Ludo game is very popular in Africa, so popular that you could even find it on the boxes of cereals. Yes, your cornflakes, your Rice Krispies, you could find a piece of the Ludo game on those boxes. So that way people could play them. People could just literally cut them out and play them. Everywhere you go, you could find people play them because it's just very popular and very contemporary, 2 to 4 people. And that's why I thought this is a very useful tool to implement any public health improvement, because you really don't have to sell it to these people. It has such a great marketing advantage because it's already part of contemporary living there in Africa. So what I did, to take the first example, because this is a similar setting of how a Ludo game would be. But this is my Greenomics, okay? And based on the asymmetrical biotargeting of mosquitoes that I've implemented, I have to use bioforms, which are plants, as my way to weaponize my agenda towards mosquitoes, if I could say so. So the first plant we have over here, out of the 4 squares which has the plants in, is cinnamon. Now, cinnamon has cinnamaldehyde if it's crushed, and that's a strong aromatic compound that repels mosquitoes. Mosquitoes can stand that. It creates a sensation close to asphyxiation for them, and they are repelled by cinnamon. So currently cinnamon has been infused into slime, a popular fetish toy, very popular. Just all you have to do is just Google slime and see what is done, especially on Nickelodeon in the US. So it's put into slime, and because kids love it, in the same, wisdom that supports using Ludo games, and slime is already popular with children. We put cinnamon into slime, and kids playing with the slime, it will help fortify them against mosquito bites, especially in African school-going kids, public school-going kids in Africa. The next plant is the Drosera plant. The Drosera plant, yeah, we're getting a little bit more intense. This eats mosquitoes or eats insects. It's a carnivorous plant. It needs to eat insects to make up for its lack of nutrient. It's a supplement to its nutrient. The next plant is also a carnivorous plant, but the difference is it is a water-living plant. It is called the aldrovanda. Now, the aldrovanda feeds on the eggs and larvae of mosquitoes in the water habitat. So, the same implementation, but different in the sense that this eats the mosquito larvae or eggs, and this eats the adult mosquitoes. The last on this particular platform, and certainly the most important, is the chrysanthemum flower. The chrysanthemum flower is so important and so revered in Japan because the chrysanthemum flower is a useful flower for imperial symbolism of the emperor. Literally speaking, the emperor's throne in Japan is called the chrysanthemum throne. And that is because chrysanthemum, or this is the kanji of chrysanthemum called kiku. So kiku is so important, and I believe it was adopted into the Japanese dynasties way back as the Heian period for its medicinal purpose. But back to the chemistry behind it. Why is it so important? Is because the kiku or the chrysanthemum plant has a compound called the pyrethrin. Some could call it the pyrethrin. And this is the best low toxicity chemical against mosquitoes. Yeah, very effective and very safe for everybody to use. What it really does on a mosquito is that it crosses the sodium channels in the mosquitoes, and that basically paralyzes them or immobilizes them. And this country has made the most out of it because the throne of the emperor is named after a flower. It is a measure of strength and not necessarily a measure of beauty, because way back centuries ago, it was even crushed and used for medicinal purpose, and sometimes it could be mixed with mortar and built into a house, and that way it fortifies a whole house. Can you believe it? A whole house fortified against mosquitoes and even sometimes amphibians, and that's why it's a measure of strength and it's a central theme, just like how maybe the Chiyoda city is in Japan, where the emperor lives. So we have here the kanji of kiku, but this kanji is very important for something else. Now, get intermediating factors that share almost the same spirit with the strength, but yet using biological forms or using ways that are safe for the environment. So starting with this Toyota Woven City, to be precise, is going to be the first carbon-free city. So pushing the lid of civilization, where we're going to have a whole city that will be carbon-free by Toyota. The next is Kansai Paint. Kansai Paint is so tied to what I'm doing because Kansai has a paint called the Kansai Plascon paint, a mosquito-repellent paint that has the pyrethroid. The pyrethroid is a synthesized version of the pyrethrin. And so they're taking the very aspect of the chrysanthemum and putting it into paint, and people can now literally paint their houses and it fortifies them against mosquitoes. Almost like what happened 300 years ago. And then the next is Slime for Africa that I told you is already working in Africa using cinnamon to fortify children against mosquito bites. And the last over here, the Limex paper. Normally paper is gotten from trees and uses a lot of water to produce it. But this Limex gets their paper from limestone. And so it saves the planets of so many trees that have been falling in water to be used. So since we're using paper, it's very important or very connected as well. Now, the important part of the kanji of Kiku in the middle here is we got the pyrethrin and infused it into conductive ink, more like a conductive paint. And so it has been infused into a conductive paint. And imagine children, just things that connect with their imagination. What do they like to do? They like to draw, they like calligraphy. So imagine having that ink inside of the pyrethrin inside of the ink, and kids can draw with it. And when they draw with it and they're done, their artwork, and they put it by their bedside, it really fortifies their room against mosquito bites. It's so, so important. And so I use the same ink, using the outer part of the game that you see is dark, and put the graphene-based ink with pyrethrin in it, and turned the Greenomics game into a circuit. So much of a circuit that you will see in the video, I connected a mini speaker to it and I could play some music with it. It was perfect, and I could turn it into a circuit. So I'm looking for very creative, very elementary ways to infuse this remedy into the public space and truly help people improve on their health. And based on the health, which is the central subject matter because of the scourge of the pandemic that we're dealing with, it has been used and is currently going to be rolled out, the use of using copper oxide to deal with bacteria, because copper oxide has been effective to truly make a place clean and to deal with bacteria or viruses. It has already been available for a long time. This is a socks that has copper sole, copper oxide, and it can boost an immunity. So let's picture this. Having this is a wearable. Or imagine public school kids in Africa. They can have their decks with paper superimposed with copper oxide, or superimposed with graphene-based ink with pyrethrin in there. And so you've done the world a great service in the fact that you have integrated remedies or tools to boost public health into spaces where people integrate, interact, and have social activities, unbeknownst of the fact that while that is going on, they're getting stronger, they're getting healthier, they're getting protective service from all of these elements. Thank you for watching, and please find a way to send this video to any person who should be interested in it. Thank you. Arigato gozaimasu. Hi. So, as a continuation of what we did, we have over here a felt pen that has the conductive ink mixed with Pyrethrin. Okay, so with this we can draw a beautiful kanji. I just did one, and this is Daigaku, which means the university in Japanese. So this is kanji, and so clearly I mixed it with the electric paint that I use for the circuit. This is from Bear Conductive, but also sometimes another conductive ink, so to say. This is Japanese, is AGIC. AGIC is a circuit marker. It's made out of silver, and so you can use it to also do something like this. So clearly what I've just done with this particular piece is I've created a calligraphy kanji that has in it both the conductive ink and Pyrethrin. So if I put it around my room, I've fortified my room against mosquitoes, because the Pyrethrin is an effective toxic chemical against mosquitoes. So just to show, for demonstration purposes, I'm just going to do another kanji over here with the pen that has the ink and the Pyrethrin. And the kanji of choice I'm going to do is pretty simple but important. This is a number 8 in Japanese, and number 8 in Japanese is a lucky number. Also a lucky number, I think, in German. Onaji Deutsche. So, yeah, we have a kanji is 8, and it kind of signifies the Fuji Mountains. And so I guess maybe that's why it's a lucky number. But number 8 in kanji. And to complete the whole process is get this and put it exactly here. So I fortified my workspace against mosquitoes.